Hey everyone, I just wanted to send out a video. In this video, we're going to kind of look at a new formation that both Jed and I are going to tinker with in terms of trying to get the best out of us defensively, while also trying to get us on track a little bit more offensively by pushing more numbers up, giving us more width, and putting players in positions that we think they're going to have the most success. This formation, some can consider a 3-4-3, or even a 3-6-1, depending on how we're going to play. But at times it can be very defensive, and at times it can be very attacking minded. So, what I want to do today is just give a brief introduction to it. I'm going to go through some video of a recent Liverpool versus Chelsea game to kind of analyze the formation and allow the girls to at least see it in play. And then, I also have just some tactical notes that I can make with an online software that I have to talk about some of the attacking tendencies and defending tendencies in the formation. All right. So the first thing you're going to notice, the formation here is a 1-3-4-2-1. What I want the girls to get in the habit of is to look at this, okay, and kind of know what the numbering are of each players. They should have known this already for considering a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, what they've played in the past. But some of what I did was I took the numbering and I based it off of those previous positions. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the blocks of players, okay, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'll show the video and then just make any other tactical notes that I can. All right, so this basically gives an outline, and I will send this actual analysis to the girls. It's a demanding formation. We have to be good in our rotation, and I think one thing we've shown at times in the fall is that we can get organized defensively. So we want to kind of build off of that. That tries to give us organization defensively, but allows us to get a good amount of numbers in the attack. So what you'll have here is you have the first thing is the back three system. You have 4, 5, and a 6. The reason that I used a center back here as the number 6 is, this person here really is a holding midfielder type of player that kind of drops off, gives us some balance in the back line, is able to possess well out of the back. And then you have the 4 and the 5 who are traditional center backs. Okay, so players who have played center back, the responsibilities are the same, and we spoke about it at a practice recently indoor, about the roles of the back three and defending in a back three. We'll talk more about that and obviously build off of that as we get going a little bit more. But there's a compact three, so no matter what, when we attack now, and if we're in a 4-2-3-1 and we want our outside backs to get up, we want the opposite side outside back to stay. So that gives us always 3 in the back. This option here takes care of that rotation for us. Okay. These back three, the 4, the 6, and the 5 are always going to be kind of narrow in defense. Okay, the relationship of the 1 is that our goalkeeper has to be comfortable with their feet, and a lot of times, both of our goalkeepers work with their feet, but they have to be comfortable playing a little bit higher up the box, a little bit higher up the field at times, and they have to be an outlet for those back 3 to be able to play the ball too. Okay, what this does is it helps fix the opposition press. Okay, meaning that there's different ways we can counterattack. If they press high 3 and we want to work the ball out of the back, this gives us the numbers to do that. Okay, what we can do there is we can drop our wing backs in a little bit, to give us a player there and a player there. Okay, and that would give us essentially 5 in the back. Okay, and then that front 3, it would be very hard for them to mark 5 players, so then we'd be able to work the ball out that way. The other thing is you have these 2, again, holding midfielders who we've played with this year. We played with majority. When we weren't playing a diamond, we were playing with 2 holding midfielders, so they can help to drop into make almost a back 4 and to help us work out that way. All right. and essentially what we'll do is in each game is going to change game to game, but we can have that these four and the five step it into the midfield a little bit more. If those options help us, the six can step a little bit higher into the midfield at times, or the six can drop back and be almost a sweeper. Okay, so really a lot of what we're going to do is going to depend upon the opposition, and it's our goal to be that when we get to those points, either through video and through training, they kind of know what the adjustments are going to be for those players. Okay. Now the next big thing are the 3 and the 2. Okay, so the wing backs. All right, so in this formation, the 3 and the 2 are going to have to cover a lot of ground. Okay, they got to cover a lot of ground. Sometimes we're going to play that when the ball is on the weak side, that defender has to pinch in. Okay, so at times this, if the number 2 gets high, okay, we might ask the number 3 to drop in and create a back 4. Okay, vice versa, we can spend it at times where both outside mids are getting up. We can also say that if a 7 pinches out, makes a run to the corner, now our 2 pinches in to give a little bit of midfield help there too, and still maintain that numerical superiority in the midfield. Okay, but what this does, what these 2 positions, the 3 and the 2, give us is a constant width on the field, something that we struggle with at times. Even when we play with wide midfielders, we struggle to maintain the width. And what it does is it takes a little bit of the defensive responsibility away from them and allows them to be more attack-minded. Okay, we'll talk about different situations and we'll look at different things in the video, but those 2 wing backs are really going to present a lot of trouble, and I think with some of the players that we have, we can really build off of that a lot. Okay. The other thing is we have a 10 and an 8. Okay, now traditionally you'll see a 10 as a more of an advanced role, but the reason I wanted to put the 10 in this spot is that there's going to be times where we have the 10 getting forward and the 8 dropping central, okay, to defend. All right, there's going to be times where 1 steps up to make it almost a 3-1, a 3-1-5-1. Okay, so we'll be able to change those in different ways, but we can also give people set roles and say, all right, the number 8, you're always going to be here, the number 10, you're always going to be up there, or we can decide to be almost like a double pivot where if the ball's on one side, 8 gets up, if the ball's on the other side, 10 gets up. Okay, but all the time, if the 8 goes, then the 10 has to stay back. Okay, we don't want to get caught in this middle pocket here without any cover. All right. So what this is going to do is this width and their ability to stretch up and down the sideline is going to provide space for our midfielders and target forward to work. Okay, so and it's going to give us the opportunities for us to play out of the back, but also to maintain position, switch the field quickly, and really do a lot of things that we want to do. But it puts us in a position where they're already a lot of times in the rotations that we want. Okay. The next piece are these 2, the number 11 and the number 7. Okay, so the number 11 and number 7 are 2 very important players. Okay, they're going to cover a lot of this rotation of this front 3. Okay, is really going to be key in terms of how we, how we attack and how we gain our attacks. Okay, like I said, there's going to be times where the attacking mids are going to clear this space out and go into that zone. Okay, so get wide, try to draw the outside backs or their center backs out, and then attack the space behind them. All right, but really, a lot of times what we want to do is we want to focus on how can we get the number 9 the ball, and then how can our movement for the 7 and the 11 work for that. Okay, so say the ball gets played into number 9, our number 7 can spring out, and our number 11 can drop down to provide support for the number 9. Okay, now we still have the width because we'll still have the number 3 and the number 2 coming up into the attack as well. Okay, so there will be different situations and we'll work on different patterns of play, but that's what we're going to work on. And the final thing is you need a a dynamic striker, which I think, obviously I think we have, and I think we have multiple people who can play in that space. So that interchange of these front three are going to be very important in terms of how it works and how we attack and how we create more chances. Okay, so again, I'll send this out to you guys, but what we'll do now is we'll just analyze some video of Liverpool playing and then look at it from there. Okay, so this is a Capital One Cup game, Liverpool-Chelsea. In the first part of the video, we're going to focus on just their offensive shape. Okay. All right, so right here you can kind of see them building. All right, and in this situation, you have the goalkeeper, you have your three backs who are almost spread the width of the 18. Okay. We have to be comfortable there, and I think we're lucky in that we have players who can play out of the back and who are comfortable on the ball. Okay, you then have our two holding midfielders here checking for the ball, looking for options. Okay, to play the ball into the middle. All right, this was a horrible back pass. Okay, ends up being a nice little play for him in order to keep possession. Okay, but what you can see here is that we have a central back here. Okay, just real quick. All right. All right. Sorry about this. All right, so what we have here, okay, is we have a center back, okay, that's jumped up to grab the ball. We have our wing back here. As you can see, he's as wide as you can go, feet on the line, okay. You have your two central holding mids, okay, one holding, one attacking. All right, you have our number 7 in this position, and this is our number 11, who is the left central attacking midfielder. But you can see, the options that kind of build up there. Okay, there's always options to play wide, and then that wide option is going to allow to play central. Okay? But what you can see is now the wing back tucks into the middle to create a little bit of a numbers up situation. Okay? So what we can see is all right, what's going to happen is that the attacking midfielder is going to peel out that spot, and then now our wing back is going to come central. Okay, so that's always an option in terms of the movement: an attacking mid wide, a wing back inside. Okay, you can kind of see it from here. Plays it and then pinches inside to create that numbers up situation in the midfield. All right, not a great touch, but it was a good indication of the movement. But here you can see just how willing they are to use their center backs and then their wing backs. So they always have the width, they always have support back, okay, from the backs, and then look at how spaced out the center backs are in terms of their ball movement and able to get the ball wide. Okay, so just a little jump in the video here. All right, but you can see just the movement, the ability. So right here, that's a wing back, okay, up around the 18, looking to get switched, okay. Attacking midfielder can drop in, essentially creating a box in the midfield, okay. But you can see it's easy. You have the ability to kind of work the ball around. And Chelsea, the blue team here, is playing a little bit of a low line, so they're giving those center backs the time on the ball, but even if they didn't, they would have the midfielders. If they pressed up a little bit higher, the midfielders would be able to drop in and get it. But you can see the space that the midfielders have to get the ball and to play forward. All right, and again, even when you're watching it, and you can rewind it and repeat it, and I'll send you the playlist. What you have is you have to look at their technique, how they're receiving the ball. They're checking over their shoulder. They're looking to go forward. They're looking to go to a switch. All those things you need to build in to your game. Okay, especially at the next level. All right, playing into the target. Striker coming under. Okay, so right there you have a. All right, so what's going to happen? All right, this ball here is going to get played into the striker. Okay, and you're going to notice that the one attacking mid is going to come down underneath, okay, to fill in that space, to give him support. He doesn't need to stay wide because we still have a wide midfielder that's all the way out wide, okay? So you just need to look at certain movements and stuff like that, and even watch the full game and just try to pick out, when you have an idea of what position you're playing, pick out an idea, watch that position, see where they move on the field, and go from there. All right, but you can just see the movement up, can play it back, a little bit better control, but still, they have options forward, options wide, and again, they're always looking to combine with each other. All right, but again, you just see the spacing, see the formation, the ability of a center back to dribble out a little bit. Okay, but look at the width that's already there. Spreading out Chelsea is probably one of the best defensive teams, obviously in the world. Okay, I'm sure you've heard parking the bus, but what they're able to do here is, to break them down. Even when they're playing a low line, they're playing below the midfield line in terms of their defensive line. All right, but again, up and back, up and back. The technical part was a little bit off at times, but you get to see the kind of shaping that they have. All right, the holding midfielders rotating. So right here, what you'd have, okay, in the situation, is if we go back to this really quick, okay, you have them in a flat shape, right? Now Lucas here, all right, is going to end up dropping for the ball, so he's more of the holding midfielder or the number 8. And then you have Jordan Henderson here, who's going to move up the field a little bit to become more of that box-to-box attacking midfielder. So you can just look at the rotation a little bit. So as he checks down, the other forward goes up, and they're always looking to get in these windows to where they can receive the ball from their player. Okay, if they can't receive it, now they shift down. Now Henderson comes down, and the other midfielder comes up. So you can see a little bit of the rotation here, and even in just this 5-minute clip, you can kind of get an idea and the ability to play long and still attack from those situations. All right, this is even a situation where they have the ball and just the midfielders coming up into the attack, and any midfielder and defender can say it's hard to track runs from the back and from the midfield. If they're in front of you and the ball's ahead of them, it's hard to track those runs behind the ball. So that's something that I think we got to improve at a little bit as well. All right, so again, just working the ball around, but you get to see the shape. You see the keeper has to be good off the line. All right, but a lot of times, this is the shape that you want as an offensive team trying to play out of the back. All right, able to play the ball forward. It's a bad touch, but look how they press to get the ball back. All right, you'll be able to see that in the defensive side. All right, but that's a center back out there at that wide. Able to play under pressure, work the ball, play the ball forward, turn, and then that switch is going to be on a lot. Okay. In this formation, you don't have to wait for the outside backs to get forward. We can just play the ball and know that the outside back's going to get it. We just look at the ball movement, look at the opportunities, the seams that they create. All right. And then you can see some of the, coming up here is going to be a little bit more of the direct combination play. Okay, so working the ball forward, working the ball back, the attacking mids and the forward working off of each other. All right, being comfortable, when they're pressing a little bit higher up the field, being comfortable on the ball, holding the ball. Notice a lot of their passes are inside out. Okay, being able to switch the field. That was a great switch, great first touch. Right, you can see when the ball's wide, kind of the options that those players have. Okay. All right, that was a great combination. That was a great pattern right there. Would hope for a little bit more from that cross, but it gives you a sense up, back, and then through. right? So they're able to work that ball quickly there, and that's the outside back again, getting up high into the attack. All right, you can just look at the patience. Be up, back, all right, keep possession, right? The options aren't there. We can then work it wide to try to keep the defensive team moving, okay? And a lot of times what this is going to do, this is going to give you a numerical superiority, or at least in the your offensive third, it gives you the option to play, okay? It gives you the option to focus a little bit on, outnumbering them, or at least having numbers the same, okay? Now, what we want to look at here is just the positioning, on the field, okay? So again, some of these roles, okay? We have the 5, the 4, can spread out more when the goalkeeper has the ball, okay? This allows the number 2 to get high up the field and wide, okay? And then a lot of times you're going to have one more offensive-minded and then one more defensive-minded player, okay? So when you build out of the back, you're already building into almost, you're creating the diamond situation here, okay? So in term, here, you can create a little bit of a diamond midfield without even thinking about it, okay? So when the ball gets worked, okay, what we're doing is we're focusing on our players trying to get in the gaps to make sure that they're able to get the ball, okay? And a key part here is a box midfield, okay? So this box midfield is hard to defend against, okay? And you can kind of see why, because most teams are playing 2 and a 1 or a 1 and a 2, so you always have that superiority, hopefully, in the midfield, okay? And then even against the diamond, it's going to be a little bit harder to mark, okay? But when the ball does go wide, if the ball gets played wide here, all right, we can have the option for our center forward to play that, okay? So our center forward can come wide. If that happens, our number 11 comes up and our number 7 floats down, okay? The other option that you have, all right, is in these situations are the attacking mid to come wide, okay? And then what's going to happen is the number 11 is going to pinch in down. We don't need the number 11 to stay wide because we always have that wide option with our number 3, okay? So when the ball gets played in, it can get played in here, all right? It can get a wall pass around, or it can get played back and then through, how we saw a couple times in Liverpool's build-up play, okay? All right, so now what we want to do is we want to talk about our defensive shape, okay? And really what's going to happen is we're going to pick times to press, and you're going to see sometimes Liverpool in this situation pressing at different times, but also their main idea is to not let the ball get played central, okay? So when you're looking at it, okay, you have, the shape. You can see the shape. The shape's almost like a Christmas tree in some sense, okay? When they get it, all right, they play it across, all right. You can just kind of see the shape, okay? Now, okay, the one thing that changes a little bit, okay, is that this is one of our attacking mids. They're responsible for that player when the ball gets played out to a wing back, okay? So when the outside back on Chelsea gets the ball, it's our responsibility of one of our 7 or our 11 to put pressure out on them, okay? And you're going to notice that this player is going to come in a little bit to provide pressure, but they're trying to lock them in on the sides, okay? So one of our principles would be when the ball gets wide, that's when we press, okay? So you'll see a little bit just by their movement, all right, they're trying to squeeze that ball on the sideline, all right? They get out a little bit there, but I wanted to put this in because you see it's switched again. But now you see that we have that option. If it's a quick switch, we have the option of our wing back to come up and pressure the ball. All right. Now, one thing you want to realize is what happened there was a backwards pass, so that was this player's trigger to press a little bit. Okay, we'll work on different pressing cues, but you can see that Liverpool, even though they're playing a low line, they put a lot of pressure on the ball, and they force long balls like that they can win. All right, so here again, you have a block of 4. All right, you have the 2 attacking mids right here. Okay, so you see this connection here. All right, the 2 attacking mids to try not to allow the switch. Okay, and then what you're going to have is a block of 4 across in front of the back line. when the ball's wide, right, their job is to try to keep it wide. Take away their central options, work the ball back, but again, a pass back. Now they put a little bit higher pressure on the field. All right, and force hard balls for the Chelsea team to keep control of. All right, and then a turnover. Okay, this gives you a good just sense of their shape. All right, gives you a good sense here. You have your two holding, your two attacking midfielders, and your striker. All right. Then we're going to need some pressure sometimes from the midfielders, okay? But what you're going to notice is that one midfielder steps up to almost make it a 1-3-1, and then the one is staying home. Not both. So these are the two center midfielders here and here. All right. They're not both up. Okay, so even if one decides to go press, the other one has to drop into that space. He can't step out of that space as well. All right, and they get a turnover through their pressing. All right, you can see a little bit of the formation here. All right, again, another midfielder pressing up, and the one taking his space behind him. Okay. All right, and able to work out of it. All right, but here, all right, what we have is once they lose it, they have to get back and get compact. Okay, so it's a turnover in the midfield. Our defenders have to get back and get compact as quickly as possible. All right, so those back three, it's very important to always be reading the possession of the game. All right, again, here's an attacking midfielder coming out to press and outside back. All right, and on a back pass, they're forcing them into playing long balls forward where the back three can really have a little bit of an advantage there. All right, so you see as the ball gets switched, we're trying to keep them on the sideline. And you're automatically going to lock them in when the ball's wide. Okay? So what we want to look at is defensively. All right, so if we get our shape a little bit better. And I'm able to do animations on this when we can, but if we have a defender there, if the ball's there, okay, with an outside back, all right, what's happens is this person can go play pressure, all right, our other midfielder can tuck in, all right, midfielder can step there, the other holding midfielder can come over. So we're locking them in to one side of the field, all right. Our striker is going to take away the back pass to the center backs, but then you have your 3, your 10, your 8, and your 7 locking the field off on that one side, okay? At times, we can say, all right, the number 2 is going to drop in, okay? Or the number 2 drops back, the number 4 across, the number 6 across. We can decide how we want to play with that, all right? But at some times, and in this game, Liverpool was leaving this person wide so that when they won it, they always had an outlet, okay? The other thing you can do in this formation, all right, and we'll look at different, specific instances in a game, but if we want to play a little bit more defensive, we can drop in players here, and we can drop in our wing backs or our attacking mids here, and drop in there at times too to become a little bit more of an ultra defensive type of team in that situation. Okay, so if we're trying to protect the lead or things like that, we can look at certain things, certain different alterations to the formation to help. Okay. And we'll work on, the different roles and responsibilities and try to build them out a little bit more to give the girls a little bit more comfort with it. But, this is just a brief kind of introduction to what we want to see on the field and what we might ask of them. Okay, so I encourage them to take notes while you guys watch it, to always have it to refer back to. And I will also post the full game as well as the clips that I had too, so you can look through it again. Okay, but this is something we're going to start working with in terms of practice and training sessions. So, please have this as a reference and start to really know the positions. If I tell a specific player you're playing the number 8, kind of know the role that you're in. You're playing the number 9, know where you're at. You're playing the number 2, know what I expect from you as a number 2. Okay, so they're obviously not by jersey numbers. It's a positioning system, but just as a reference point for the future, you always have it, and we can always look to it and then come back to this video. Okay. We're going to come back and we'll analyze a little bit more video from that, but the big thing is being able to just kind of watch it, and what you can do is at any time you want to watch Liverpool play, you can always look and see how they kind of alter it around. They change it from time to time, and then we can go from there. But I think the big thing is, knowing what the shape looks like, knowing some of the basic ideas from it, and then knowing how we use it to have an effect on the game, and then going forward. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or ask me at practice, and I will see everybody soon.